to the inaugural Lowry Award ceremony, where we will be presenting the Edward D. Lowry Memorial Award for Citizenship. We would first like to take a moment to thank all of you for being here to honor Ed's legacy, as well as our wonderful nominees. I am your host, Kelly Kehoe, and tonight, our 5 nominees and winner will be announced by Lou Hennessian and Ed Hambleton. Lou is an award-winning journalist, author, educator, FAV symposium panelist, researcher, and consultant who specializes in stress resilience and emotional intelligence and mindful communication. Ed is a successful actor and off-Broadway theater manager with a passion for serving others in his community as a court-appointed special advocate and a Meals on Wheels volunteer. Say hello to Lou and Ed, everyone.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody. Hey, Kelly.
Lou.
So before we get started, just a few housekeeping details. Audience members, you have 2 viewing options in this webinar. You have gallery mode and speaker mode. If you can toggle between these at any time at the top right-hand corner of your screen where it says view. Gallery mode will allow you to see all of the presenters at the same time and is probably going to be the default option for most of you. The speaker mode is going to allow you to display only the current speaker with the rest of the panelists at the very top of the screen in smaller boxes. If you have any questions at any point during the presentation, please scroll to the bottom of your webinar screen and click the Q&A button. If you like a question that someone else asks, feel free to click the thumbs up icon next to it. I'm now going to turn it over to the Executive Director of First Amendment Voice, Steve Miska, who will say a few words about Ed, his legacy, and the award that we have created in his honor. Take it away, Steve.
Thank you, Kelly. We are so blessed to have you as our champion of the First Amendment, our blog writer, our panel moderator during symposiums, and now master of ceremonies for the inaugural Edward D. Lowry Memorial Award for Citizenship. I would like to thank our special guests this evening, including Ed's widow, Terry Lowry. Can our tech support please invite Terry up to say hello to the audience? Oh, there we go. Okay, everybody, there's Terry Lowry.
Hi, welcome everyone. I'm so glad you could be with us this evening for this wonderful honor for my husband. The children and I are so thrilled that you could all join us. Thank you for sponsoring this event, Steve, and your committee. And let the show begin.
Thank you, Terry. It's wonderful to have you here. And in addition to Terry joining us this evening, Ed and Terry's children are all here. Alicia, Mark, Beth, probably a few grandchildren out there, maybe some great-grandchildren, other friends. We are honored by your presence this evening. And I would also like to thank the many volunteers who made this program special. It takes a lot of work to put something like this together, and we've had tremendous help from our volunteers, as we do in everything we do here at First Amendment Voice. The nominators, I also want to thank them, the people who looked out into their communities and noticed somebody leading good work, and then they wrote up a nomination and submitted it on their behalf. Thank you for doing that. You made the job of selecting a winner this evening extremely difficult with the amazing nominees that you submitted. The Nominations Review Committee, who donated their time and talent to help make a very difficult decision with those the tremendous nominees that were submitted. These people, to a T, talked about how difficult the process was, and I think you'll get a sense for that as we feature many of the nominees this evening. And then, of course, the nominees themselves, who have been doing amazing work out in their community, despite the hardships of the last year, despite a pandemic, despite political divisions. They were doing things, spearheading change in their community, overcoming challenges, some of them for their entire lives. And lastly, I'd like to thank everybody else in the audience, our FAV board members, advisory council members, donors, members at large, students, veterans, other special guests. Thank you for attending this evening's program. You are in for a special treat, and this will be a joyous occasion. I want to cover why we're doing this. It's a threefold process. One, of course, we're honoring the life and legacy of Ed Lowry. but also we're spotlighting this amazing good work that's been going on in communities across the country. We're in times when it seems like we're just being inundated with negative news in the media. This is a chance to uplift each other, to recognize the good work that's been going on, to unite people and overcome challenges. And then lastly, the third purpose is to inspire. And that ultimately is what all of First Amendment Voices programming is about. It's when we sit in the audience and we hear the stories about these amazing nominees, we want to be like them. We want to live our lives more like Ed Lowry. And so that inspiration is so important and uplifting. I think you'll see that. The history of this award began, unfortunately, with Ed's unexpected loss. It caught communities off guard. We did not expect it. Many organizations were impacted. And we decided, First Amendment Voice decided, by consulting with the Lowry family, by consulting with Vale United Methodist Church, the Shepherd Center, other organizations where Ed had an outsized impact, whether this would be an appropriate way to honor his life and legacy. And everybody said, this is absolutely how we think you should do it. And it would go towards fulfilling FAV's mission of inspiring people to be active citizens in their communities. So we developed a rigorous process. It was based on 7 criteria that went out in our call for nominations. And the selection process used those 7 criteria to evaluate the nominees who were submitted. It was a blind process, which we felt was very important. We did not want the nominations review committee to be swayed because an FAV board member submitted a nomination or a Lowry family member submitted a nomination. We wanted the nominees to be considered on the merits of what was submitted for them on their behalf. There were 5 committee members. None of them were FAV board members. None of them submitted nominees themselves. So we tried to make the process as objective as possible. They all, though, had an interest in furthering FAV's impact. So we are very grateful for them. Our program this evening, we hope you're going to have some fun with it. We're recording it. We know you've got family members and friends who might not be able to be here live. And so we wanted to share that with others. And so it'll be up on our YouTube page, probably in a couple days. If you want to make sure you get notified when it is up, please just subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you can click on the notifications and you'll get notified whenever we post videos. And there's many videos of the amazing nominees that nominators sent in on their behalf as well up there that you can view. After the program, we're going to have a smaller reception for nominees and those who nominated them to come together and meet each other and do a little networking and mingle. I think you're really going to enjoy our program tonight. You might cry. I'm just going to warn you up front. I have not made it through a rehearsal without crying. I hope that you smile and laugh during the program as well. Get ready to enjoy the celebration. We're going to start with some special music in honor of Ed's musical taste. He loved country music, and he also was a huge fan of Cher. And so here's some special music to start our program. Thank you for joining.
Pushing me aside and I can't break through. There's no talking to you. It's so sad that you're leaving. It takes time to believe it, but after all said and done, you're gonna be the lonely one. and wait for you. Well, I can't do that. No turning back. I need time to move on. I need love to feel strong. 'Cause I got time to think it through. And maybe I'm too good to you. Oh, do you believe in life after love? I can feel something inside me say, I really don't think he's strong enough now. Do you believe in life after love? I can feel something inside me say, I really don't think he's strong enough now. To know that we'll get through this. Know that I am strong. Oh, I don't need you anymore. 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 Do you believe in life after love? I can feel something inside me say, I really don't think he's strong enough now. Do you believe in life after love? I can feel something inside me say, I really don't think he's strong enough now.
Thank you so much for that, Steve. Now, to give you all a better idea of who Ed was and why his work was so important for the community, here's a short video presentation about his life.
My name is Diane Dubois. I went to church with Ed Lowry, and I will tell you, it was an experience of a lifetime.
I met Ed at Vale Church.
Ed began as a strategic advisor for us.
I was Ed's wife for just over 50 years.
I'm Beth Mills. I'm Ed's youngest daughter. I like to say his favorite. As long as I can remember, he was this bulldog when it came to fundraising and trying to be an activist within the community.
I first met Ed in the fall of 1961. And at that time, he was very driven. He was driven until the day he died.
Ed was in a lot of things. People sometimes didn't realize how many ways Ed touched not just the church, but people in the community. What was gregarious and funny and clever. One of the wittiest guys I've ever known.
He was just an amazing communicator, but the thing that was most impressive to me was he had strong convictions, but he didn't let his own beliefs get in the way of helping others. He would go to people in the organization that he knew that usually disagreed on whatever the issue at hand happened to be, but he would figure out a way where they could work together.
He was a kind man. He welcomed us. He welcomed my family. He never did anything alone. He shared all of the good things that he did with everyone.
And so I just think he definitely lived out to sometimes almost an embarrassing extent, serving others, whether it be driving in the car, whether it be money, whether it be time. He really instilled in us growing up that everybody has something to give, no matter where you come from, no matter what you have.
While planning Ed's funeral, our children and I were looking for a poem that would exemplify Ed's life. We found one that we thought fit his purpose very well, and I'd like to share that with you. The author is unknown. The title is The Dash. I read of a man who stood to speak at the funeral of a friend. He referred to the dates on the tombstone from the beginning to the end. He noted that first came the date of birth and spoke the following date with tears. But he said what mattered most of all was the dash between those years. For that dash represents all the time they spent alive on earth. And now only those who loved them knew what that little line is worth. For it matters not how much we own, the cars, the house, the cash. What matters is how we live and love and how we spend our dash. So think about this long and hard. Are there things you'd like to change? For you never know how much time is left that can still be rearranged. If we could just slow down enough to consider what's true and real, and always try to understand the way other people feel, and be less quick to anger and show appreciation more, and love the people in our lives like we've never loved before. If we treat each other with respect and more often wear a smile, remembering the special dash might only last a little while. So when your eulogy is being read, with your life actions to rehash, would you be proud of the things they will say about how you spent your dash?
You know, boats leave a wake. Ed left a wake of impact and caring and love and selflessness that I think impacted us all. I think all of us who were in the wake of Ed's boat, in a good sense, were caught up in that pull and were made better because of him. And Ed was one of the first people we lost over the last 18 minutes for various reasons. It's tough. It's tough to get the momentum going again. And Ed was such a huge hole to fill. He did so many things. We needed like 4 volunteers to pick up the work he did.
His loss really impacted numerous organizations in substantial ways. But I think for me, personally, his loss was just, you know, I've still got his voicemails on my phone. You know, I miss those phone calls. I miss him. He was just a wonderful friend.
I just love the man. And like I said, I learned a lot from him, and I really appreciate doing this. And I'm so glad that Ed has this award.
I'm real excited about this award and his memory kind of living on through this.
To all of those who are nominated for this award in Ed's memory, I congratulate you on the work you are doing to make the world a better place for everyone. You too are using your gifts and talents to accomplish good work. You can all be proud of the things that will be said about your dash. On behalf of myself and my family, I want to thank all of those who are attending the ceremony tonight in honor of Ed's contributions towards making the world a better place. Words cannot express our gratitude to Steve, to his staff, and to the members of First Amendment Force who made this event possible. Thank you.
Wow. As you can see, Ed made such a huge impact on everyone he met in his life. His tenacity and ability to care for other people had no bounds. Now I'm going to give the floor to Ed and Lou, who will announce our top 5 nominees who have lived up to the legacy that Ed has left behind. Take it away, Ed and Lou.
I mean, Kelly, it's hard to start speechless, but right? Thank you so much. Hey, Ed, how are you doing?
Hey Lou, great, doing great. So love
I
that
know we're
film.
both very excited. And so before we kick things off, I think we want to take a moment to just show all the nominees. We had quite a number and they need to be recognized. So I'll hand it over to you, Ed.
That's right. Here's a quick presentation of our wonderful nominees. Wow. What an impressive group, Lou, from all walks of life. Incredible.
Really, Ed, they certainly are. I mean, each with a unique story of courageous leadership. So let's take a moment to just recognize and thank all of the nominees for their remarkable service to others.
It takes a lot of time and dedication to perform acts of service like this, especially during these difficult times.
Yeah.
And FAV wants to show its appreciation.
And to show its appreciation, FAV is giving every single nominee a complimentary membership to FAV, including, you'll love this, Ed, a ticket to the National Symposium in September, which is a fantastic event. And
Wonderful.
which I had the honor of being at a couple of years ago. Ed, you've been there many times.
Yes, Lou, my wife and I have attended several FAV symposiums and they were incredible.
Wonderful.
We'd also like to take a moment to thank all of the frontline workers who we believe haven't received enough recognition for the incredibly difficult work that they have put in over the past year with the pandemic.
It goes without saying, but we must say it and we must repeat it. All of the health professionals who have provided round-the-clock brave care to millions of Americans across the country in such difficult conditions, all the service professionals who kept our cities and communities and neighborhoods thriving in adversity, all our caregivers and our teachers, just the countless people who put their lives on the line in the service of others. We honor you, we see you, and on behalf of FAV and the entire nation, we want to say thank you. And we want to recognize your tireless, selfless work.
Well said, Lou. So well said. So now let's move on to the moment we've been waiting for.
Absolutely. So without further ado, we're going to present now the top 5 nominees for the Edward D. Lowry Memorial Award for Citizenship.
Okay, nominee number 1, Robbie Motter, nominated by Ursula Menchez. Robbie Motter grew up in foster homes and was on her own at her first job at age 14 and has been working ever since. She is a fearless, strong, and committed human being who's been on a mission to change the lives of others since she's been on the planet. For over 50 years, she's been helping women and serving her community and stressing service to others. She has not stopped, nor does she intend to. Excuse me. She's the founder of Global Society for Female Entrepreneurs.org. She writes, by empowering women and providing leadership resources, we help female entrepreneurs succeed. Robbie just wrote an international best-selling book called The Power is in the Asking. And she wrote it with 46 other authors because she wanted them to be best-selling authors, as well as to get their message out to the world. Two of her mantras that she has been sharing with women across the country are, it's all about showing up, and the power is in the asking, as women have a tough time asking. Robbie writes, I empower, mentor, inspire, and educate and connect women so they can become successful entrepreneurs and soar to greater heights than even they imagined. I know and believe that we can do and achieve anything we want to. It's up to us. And I also know that together we can do more. Ursula Menchez, who nominated Robbie, writes, put it this way, if there was a cause that she believed in, Robbie fought for it, raised money for it, and more. If you ask anyone who knows her, they will tell you that she made a major impact on their life, business, and legacy.
Ed, I just think of Robbie Motter, I think of force of nature, right? I love that it's all about showing up. That's fantastic.
Yes.
Okay, so Ed, we have another nominee, and I can't wait to tell you about Bishop Joseph D. Henderson and Dr. Doris Henderson, nominated as a pair by Dave and Colette Caprera. Now, Bishop Joseph D. Henderson serves as the senior pastor of Kingdom Family Worship Center located in Fredericksburg, Virginia. He is a man of destiny and vision. He was called into the ministry at age 14. He gave his first sermon at 14. I would love to have heard that. He has spent his life building relationships between people of different denominational, racial, and economic backgrounds. He's known as a transformational leader, a gifted teacher and preacher. He has a strong heart for serving people. And he's the founder and the executive director of the Family Life Center in Fredericksburg. Established in 1997, the Family Life Center is a nonprofit agency that serves as a model for many other nonprofit agencies. And Bishop Henderson has more than 30 years of experience dealing with issues concerning faith and family and community development. He serves as a board member to many faith-based community organizations. He's won so many awards, including the Martin Luther King Jr. Community Service Award. And he's celebrating over 30 years of marriage to Dr. Doris Henderson, who is the power of showing up in her own right. She's the co-pastor of Kingdom Family Worship Center in Fredericksburg. She's established the Women of Distinction Ministry, which is designed to instruct, educate, and inspire women to soar. Dr. Henderson is also co-founder of the Bragg Hill Family Life Center, where she develops holistic programs that strengthen family and assist at-risk youth and builds community. She is the visionary of summer programs for youth and a 4-week day camp promoting STARS, which is an acronym for self-esteem, teamwork, attitude, and respect. She's a mentor to unwed mothers. She conducts seminars and workshops that promote family, and she was named an ambassador for peace in September 2006. Yes, this is our second nominee in no particular order. And I would have to say that they're bridge builders, Ed. They are just bridge builders.
Wow, what an amazing, amazing couple they are,
Yep,
you know?
absolutely.
All right, are you ready for the third nominee?
I'm ready.
Okay, Stephanie Baldwin and Koviak. Beth Mills, who nominated Stephanie, writes of her, Just like Ed, Stephanie has overcome challenges in her own life and that she used as a catalyst to make change rather than define or limit herself. Stephanie's service to others was shaped by the fact that she had two children, both diagnosed with autism. This obstacle led her to become a fearless leader and advocate in the community. She supports families at every point in their journey, from diagnosis to adulthood to estate planning. Stephanie embodies all the characteristics outlined in the Ed Lowry Award. Stephanie works all hours of the day in relentless pursuit of advocating, educating, and serving. Her life mission is supporting others by making sure they understand their rights and find their own voice and a way to be heard. Stephanie is committed to securing for all, to include people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. She spends countless hours attending IEP meetings with parents to ensure equitable access to education. She leads training for families on topics like educational laws, guardianship, and the ABLE Act. She facilitates an 8-week course called Upward to Financial Stability, whose goal is to help educate and break the poverty cycle. Beth writes in conclusion, "It is hard for me to imagine where the community would be without the passion, drive, and countless hours of dedication from Stephanie. She has been an agent of change in so many lives in our community and beyond."
An agent of change. Now that is a phrase. She's
Yeah.
definitely an agent of change, like our other nominees. And Ed, let me tell you about another agent of change.
All right.
Michael Yakowicz, who was nominated by a very special person to him, his daughter, Naomi McMurdy. Now, I love this story, Ed, and you're going to love it. So this is what inspired Naomi to nominate her father for real. She says, "When I watched Ed Lowry's daughter, Beth, describe her father's relentless spirit of service to others, I related very much with my own experience with my father, Michael Yakowicz." And she goes on to say that, of course, she's proud of all of his accomplishments. He is, of course, a former city councilman, but what impresses her is his lifelong dedication to bridging people across barriers, across faith denominations, racial backgrounds, political affiliation. He brings people together, and he does so in his community of Billings, Montana. Now, a little bit more about Michael Yakowicz and how he shows up for people is he gets them to show up for each other. He has organized many community events. Probably the seminal one is this annual March Against Drugs and Violence that is now going 20 years strong. That
Wow.
gathers people from all walks of life to the Billings courthouse lawn. Just imagine this, Ed. They share stories of how drug abuse, which is a big problem apparently in the state of Montana, has not only affected them, but also their families and communities. So this becomes this forum for public officials and faith leaders and families and students to come together and demonstrate cohesiveness, togetherness, unity, destigmatizing these stories, and really humanizing others, heightening understanding around this complex problem. He has been instrumental in community events like the 9/11 celebration of life, a memorial service to honor the lives lost during 9/11. And he has initiated and organized cross-community reconciliation project in Billings from 2019 to 2020. He is a person who is so dedicated to where he lives and to the communities around him. It's pretty remarkable. He's born and raised in Butte to a family of 9. He has served with various organizations in Billings, including the Suicide Prevention Coalition of Yellowstone Valley. He's so dedicated to youth. He actually volunteers as well for the Boy Scouts. I mean, we have to give credit.
Amazing.
I mean, all 4 of his boys are Eagle Scouts, and of course he loves camping and hunting and fishing. But I'll close with this, and you'll love this. This is so touching to me that Naomi McMurdy, his daughter, says what really pushed me to make this nomination is when I heard Beth Lowry, or Beth, Ed's daughter Beth, talk about how humble Ed was, that he did so much for others, but always left room to be the learner. That he kept his ears open to feedback, and he worked with people, and he didn't just tell people what to do.
Mm.
And so that's what Naomi sees in her dad, and his humility, right? And that she says he'd probably insist this award should be just split into pieces for all the people who've helped him in his journey. And she says there'll be many, many pieces because he's worked with more people than most people have met in their lifetime. And so I thought that was very poignant, and certainly the sign of the ripple effect that Ed Lowry had on people's lives.
Yeah, what an extraordinary story. What an extraordinary story. I love the connection that Mike's daughter makes with Ed Lowry's daughter, Beth. That's such a wonderful, strong connection. It's
Isn't it?
fabulous,
It is wonderful.
fabulous.
Okay.
So our next nominee, number 5, Dr. Gary Rybold. And Kelly Kehoe, who nominated Dr. Rybold, writes, over the 10 plus years I have known Gary, he's exemplified each and every attribute of the Ed Lowry Award criteria, particularly in regard to his servant leadership qualities, commitment to collaborating with others, regardless of ideological differences, and his ability to inspire countless students and members of the community. In his community of Orange County, California, Gary is best known for his willingness to go above and beyond to help and inspire others to think more critically, communicate more effectively, and achieve their potential. Gary's unique approaches to teaching and mentoring students align immaculately with the same principles that First Amendment voice advocates for: freedom of expression, press freedom and media credibility, constructive public discourse, respecting other ideological perspectives. One of Gary's greatest accomplishments, Lou, is the development of what he calls the IVC project, which is a unique style of teaching public speaking that gives students over 100 in-class speaking opportunities within the span of a single semester. Gary has made enormously beneficial impacts on a more localized level by teaching Chinese instructors on how to set up their own debate programs to preserve and amplify the principles of free speech and constructive discourse in the People's Republic of China. Kelly concludes, Gary's service-minded attitude is prevalent in everything he does, from empowering students to find their voices in his public speaking classes to building bridges between the US and China through engaging debate opportunities.
Like micro, meso, macro, mundo. Unbelievable. And I cannot get my head around the 100 in-class speaking opportunities in a semester. So he is not just giving people a voice, he's giving them platforms to find and use the voice he knows they have.
Yes, yes.
Well, I mean, that's remarkable. That is 5 nominees. You know, Ed, I'm so glad we're just announcing I'm not choosing. I don't think I would want to be choosing.
No, there's no way I couldn't possibly decide who to choose among all these extraordinary nominees. It would be impossible.
Yeah, you know, in rehearsal earlier today, Ed, I loved when you said, I wouldn't know what to do. And I'm like, we know what to do now, because
Yes,
it is time.
that's right. It is time. It is time. Are you ready?
I am ready. Are you ready?
Okay. So now for the big announcement we've all been anticipating. Lou, would you like to do the honors?
Absolutely, be my pleasure.
Okay.
The winner, the recipient of the first Edward D. Lowry Memorial Award for Citizenship is Stephanie Ankowiak.
Congratulations, Stephanie.
Wow, I am just so honored.
Stephanie, you're such an inspiration. Yes, you're such an inspiration. You have made the journeys of so many parents of children with unique needs less lonely, more empowered, more hopeful. I really honor you.
I can't even tell you how honored I really am. as I've learned, more about First Amendment voice, I just feel very honored that you guys have, well, that I was nominated, first of all, but then that when Beth nominated me, that she thought of her dad. I thought the tribute that you had for Ed was just so amazing. And, hearing about his selfless service and how he loved to work with other people and collaborate. He's such a problem solver. More than anything, though, that he listened to other people and even people who had different ideologies than him. I'm very, very honored. And we do work very closely with people with intellectual and developmental disabilities, people who don't have a voice. So I can see how First Amendment voice can be very important in how we help the people we support advocate in their daily lives every day. So thank you so much for this nomination and honor. It truly is an honor. And the other nominees, I'm so impressed. I actually went on Amazon and purchased Robbie's book because that's something I think I can use in my everyday life. So thank you so much to all the other nominees, but thank you very much.
Your commitment and energy, Stephanie, is extraordinary and just wonderful. Thank you.
And
No, thank you.
And Stephanie, I just, there was mention earlier when we were talking about the all of everybody's achievements, and we were certainly heaping lots of praise on everyone. There's a little detail that we did not mention about you. You have your pilot's license.
Oh, well, yes, I do.
And so just a little bit about that you also fly.
Yes, tell us
I
about
wish I
that.
did it more often, but I was very fortunate. My father flew and my grandfather flew. So that was just kind of a thing that I did growing up. So.
Well, Stephanie, you're so humble, and you have done so much, as all of our other nominees have done. We just want to congratulate you again on receiving the inaugural Ed Lowry Memorial Award for Citizenship.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Stephanie.
Thank you to Ed's family as well, very much. They're a very important part of my life. So thank you.
So Stephanie, you will be receiving this lovely award, which is a beautiful antique phone, which actually works. Since Ed spent his career in the telecom industry trying to connect people, and he was never afraid to pick up the phone and give somebody a call in order to get things done.
How cool is that? That is beautiful.
Is that great?
Yes, and Stephanie's also going to receive this certificate bearing her name as FAV's first recipient of this award, as well as the FAV membership benefits that all the other nominees received too. Ed, I feel like we've just traveled through 5 lifetimes.
I'll say.
Here we are, right? And I am amazed. I think the thing that strikes me most is how we talk about these human beings in extraordinary ways, because they are extraordinary, but all of them would say, I'm not extraordinary, I'm just doing what I do, right? There's this humility piece that goes with service, but we'll say they're extraordinary, but that really struck me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just get up every day and do what they do, but what they do is quite extraordinary, right? Quite extraordinary.
That's right. It's just get up and be awesome. Okay. Ed, all right. I think our work here is done. I think we're getting ready to wrap up. It's been a blast co-hosting with you.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure hosting with you. And I would say mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished.
Okay. Kelly, back to you.
Thank you so much, Ed and Lou, for that wonderful presentation. And congratulations to Stephanie, very well deserved. And of course, all of our nominees, thank you so much for all of the work that you do in your communities, in your everyday lives. and everything else that everyone is here to serve their communities. So I'd like to make a couple of last final announcements before you log off. First of all, for those who are attending the reception immediately after this ceremony, it will start around 5 p.m. You can also log in right now through your link that should have been sent to your email. If you did not find your link, then you can contact Sydney or Heather if you're not sure where to find it. They are now putting in the chat right now. You can see their email addresses to contact them. You can contact Sydney at info@firstamendmentvoice.org or Heather at comms, COMMS, at firstamendmentvoice.org. You should have received a 30-minute calendar reminder during the ceremony, and you can click on that link just to go directly to the reception. We'd like to thank one more time our nominees, nominators, audience members, the Lowry family, the award selection committee, and everyone else who helped make this ceremony possible. It has been an honor and a privilege to keep Ed's legacy alive, and we can't wait to see you all at next year's ceremony. Thank you, everyone.